So imagine you go out to a bar today. You approach a girl at the bar, you muster up all the courage, you're excited about approaching her, and as soon as you approach her, she turns out to be a complete bitch. She completely shuts you off, she's not interested at all, and she doesn't want to talk to you. She's just being a complete bitch for no reason. And you're thinking to yourself, what do I do in this situation? Now, if you've been in a situation like this, I'll tell you exactly what to do and how you can work on it so that you don't land up in a situation like this. And even if you do land up in a situation like this, you'll know exactly what steps to take to get her attracted to you. Now, before we talk about how to overcome this, let's talk about why this happens. Now, in a nighttime scenario, whether it's a bar or a club, a girl is getting approached by multiple men because multiple guys are walking up to her, approaching her back to back, and she's getting approached back to back because a girl in a club, she's getting approached by a lot of guys. Now, if she's getting approached by a lot of guys, and 90% of these approaches are failed approaches because these are guys who are not sure about their intent, who don't show their intent, they're going up to the girl, wasting the girl's time. Maybe they're offering her a drink, all right? That's the most regular approach you'd see in any bar. And maybe they're just offering her a drink and they're just not very clear with their intent. Why are they there? And they're just going up, talking to her, wasting her time. They're trying to leech the fun out of her party instead of having their own party. And that's what girls experience on a general basis. So firstly, you have to have a mindset whenever a girl is being bitchy to you, you have to expect her to be hostile to you, because if she's not hostile to you, if she's entertaining each and every guy who's coming up to her, walking to her and approaching her, she's gonna waste her whole day. She's gonna waste her whole day in just being polite and talking to people. So personally, what I feel is if a girl is bitchy, if a girl is being like a challenge, it's much better because she's a girl who has some character. She's a girl who's not that easy, who's not gonna sleep with each and every one. She's a girl who's not a people's pleaser, and that's what actually I'm looking for in a girl. So when you're approaching a girl in a bar or a street or a club, you have to expect her to be hostile to you, all right? Especially in a country like India where there's a lot of crime against women, there's a lot of problems, and because of that, a woman, you have to expect her to be hostile to you. Once you expect her to be hostile to you and you do the approach after that, even if she's being hostile, it doesn't really matter because you have already expected that kind of a reaction. Sometimes it doesn't matter how good your approach is or how long you've been learning pickup. And guys, I want to share a personal story with this. So I think a couple of weeks back, I was outside a club. I was trying to approach some girls. I wanted to get inside the club and I was talking to these girls. I just approached them. I'm like, hey, how's your night going so far? And the girl just completely started shouting at me, all right? She started shouting at me, hey, do your fucking work. Why the fuck are you here talking to us? And I'm like, I just asked, how's your night going so far? That's about it. Why are you being a bitch about it? Now, understand the thing. Why was she being a bitch about it? Was probably she was waiting 2 hours outside the club. She was trying to get inside the club. She was waiting for 2 hours outside the club. It was raining. She was having a very miserable and a bad day. And all I wanted was to approach her. I knew the manager. He was like, okay, if you're a couple, just get in. So all I wanted was to approach her and get her inside the club. Now her objective would probably have been sorted, which was getting inside the club if she would have spoken to me. But she was having a bad day, she was having a miserable day, and she wanted to take it out on someone. All right, and that's what she did. So a lot of times when you're approaching a girl, you never know what she's going through. All right, maybe her dog died, maybe she had a shitty day, and maybe she's just frustrated with life. And when you approach her, it gives her a chance to lash out on you. All right, so a lot of times this also happens. So you have to understand the difference when this is happening or when she's just being hostile because she doesn't know you yet. Now, the reason a lot of girls are going to be hostile towards you is because they want to see whether are you the man who's actually approaching them, are you that confident man that you're projecting to be, or are you a scared little pussy? They just want to see what's the reality. And a lot of guys, as soon as the girl starts being bitchy, they're going to run off. They're going to self-eject. They're going to eject from the interaction. They're going to run off as soon as the conversation hits the first bumpy road. And that is the biggest mistake a lot of guys do. Now, what is she looking for when she's being bitchy? She's looking at your emotional state. She's looking whether your emotional state is dependent on her reaction. And that basically means whether you're seeking her validation to pump up your own emotional state or not. And in basic layman terms, what it means is if your emotional state is dependent on the girl's responses, you're already playing a losing game, because what happens is the girl will test, okay, if I don't give him the response that he wants, or, let's just play with him a little. And this happens a lot of times if you're doing night game specifically, because in night game, a lot of girls are getting approached. In daytime, girls are a little bit more politer and they're not going to be that bitchy to you. And another thing girls are going to notice is when they're being bitchy, they want to see whether you have any emotional fluctuation. Is there any fluctuation in your emotions? Now, when they're noticing this, you have to understand, if a girl is being bitchy to you, how do you manage that? How you handle that? It's just by being extremely playful, by making it extremely fun, and by throwing shit back at her. So instead of taking things personally, being buttered and getting offended, all you need to do is you need to be playful with it. Whatever she throws at you, throw it back at her in a playful manner with a fun vibe. Now guys, one thing I want you to understand is not about what you say, it's about how you say it. Now you can say the same thing and it can sound offensive, and you can say the same thing and it can sound fun. And how do you play with a fun vibe? You play with your facial expressions, you have a smile on your face, and the vibe behind it is a little bit more challenging. Like, hey, I said that, what you gonna do about it? She just doesn't know me yet. I expect her to be hostile as I'm approaching her, and I just feel, okay, she just doesn't know me yet, and I'm glad she's nasty. I'm glad that she's not easy, because at the end of the day, everyone loves a challenge, all right? Everyone loves a challenge, and the best thing about this is, once you pass her bitch shield, the attraction is going to be tenfolds more. She's going to get attracted to you much faster, and it's going to be much stronger than before. Now, another thing I have is, let's see how bitchy can she be. And, there was a video that I watched earlier. It was how to deal with a bully. And I used the concepts of that video, which is basically I'm going to be extremely nice to her, see how bitchy she can be, even after me being extremely nice to her. Of course, I'm not going to be a super nice guy. I'm still going to be a guy who has some boundaries. Now, another thing which really helps me dealing with bitchy girls is just standing my ground. All right, this is another rule I have is, it's a free country, I'm allowed to stand here. Now guys, don't misunderstand this rule and get into a problem. You still have to be socially calibrated enough to know when to leave the situation. You need to know when to leave the situation. If the girl is getting highly annoyed, she's getting pissed at you, that's the time that you should go and eject. But instead of that, if she's not getting annoyed, if she's not getting pissed, it's better that you stand your ground and you build a mindset that it's a free country. And this will help you become more persistent. But don't confuse persistence with being extremely creepy, because there's a thin line, all right? There's a thin line. You need to understand when you're being persistent and when you're being creepy and when you need to eject. So that comes under social calibration, and you need to understand it's not illegal when you're talking to women. And guys, another thing I've realized in my journey is 60 to 80% of the girls I've taken home, or 60 to 80% of the relationships I've built with women through cold approach, who have been extremely bitchy to me in the start, and somehow I managed the conversation, I managed to get through the bitch shield and talk to them and open them up, and 90% of the pulls are going to happen like that. So you need to understand, if you're missing out on this, if you're running away, if you're ejecting on the first bump the conversation hits, you're missing out on a lot. 60 to 80% of the pulls that happened in my journey happened with the girls who were extremely bitchy to me initially, and that's going to happen with you as well. So do not miss out on this, all right? Know how to tackle this and have the right mindset when you want to tackle this. And guys, if you want professional coaching, if you want me to help you personally, all you need to do is go to the website, hop on a call with my team, and let's see how we can help your dating life this year.